Out there. How are we all going? Where do we need? We need this up. So I can grab our chat screen there. Bear with me a moment. How are we all going? I'm Ianapolis, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to my video. Bit of technical tips and, what would you call it? Hints and tips and how to get perspective and the way you lay things out on a canvas, things like that. I was asked in one of my Friday night lives, can I do something on this? And I don't have a subject to paint today, so I thought we'll get into some nitty gritties of it all. All right, so what am I after? I'm after here. So just bear with me a minute. I'll wait till some of you get in the room there, and I'll just bring up the, I'll bring these up on my screen so I can answer any questions you might have as well. So you can ask questions as well in this. Here we go, there it is there. And after we've finished this, then I will put the links in the description below. But at the moment, there's no links there until I finish. Got to wait for the ad to finish. And then we can get into it. I've got a coffee here going. I've got a whiteboard there. I'm going to have a bit of fun with this whiteboard. All right, I can skip that ad. We've got some people there already. Good stuff. All right, let me get this onto the big screen. Transfer it from this screen onto that one there. I've got a monitor there. There we go. Let me have a look. So we've got Gonzo. I love learning from the guru. Thank you very much, Gonzo. We've got Patrick, Tina Gotten or Gorton, and we've got Sarah Shack. Sarah Shack, that's it. How are we all going? All right, I've got a coffee here. I've made it in a flask today. Oh, yeah. Now, I can get rid of my clock. That was just in the way. I had to move things around to get things going for this. Now, this is about perspective. Mainly, I see a lot of people, when they paint clouds on a painting, and I didn't even bring one in here. I was supposed to bring one in, but I forgot. Doesn't matter. You've seen enough of my paintings on clouds to know. You can get caught painting the clouds flat onto the canvas. Okay, that's okay if you're a beginner. You'll learn and you'll slowly up the ante with your cloud techniques, or even if it's something else, distant hills or the layout of a river within a painting. Now I'm going to show you some different ways of laying things out on a painting if you're a beginner. Now these are my way, they're not the way or the way it should be done. They're just the way I see it would be done or the way I feel it should be done. Watching the Super Bowl and saw you come on so I can hear to watch you instead. Good stuff. So I'm better than the Super Bowl. I know that Super Bowl for you Americans is such a big deal, isn't it, eh? Bloody Super Bowl. Oh, well, not to worry. So let's get on to this. I'll get you over here a bit more closer. And this is a bit of good old art info that you can learn. Let's see if that can go there. I'm just being a bit MacGyver-y here. There we go, look at that. All right, now let's get you over here where you can see something a bit better with a whiteboard. Look at that whiteboard. Hello, Mum. That's me, Mum there. All right, so the first thing I want to show you, hang on a minute. You don't really need to keep seeing that, but it's there anyway. So let me get this maybe around there like that, just so you're not balked by the screen there. So clouds, all right, let's say this is a canvas, okay? Now you're looking at the canvas this way, all right? So your head's here, your nose, your mouth, your eye. You're looking at the canvas that way, okay? So this is how I'm going to explain a lot of these things. Now, let me get this, where are we? So you can see a bit better. There we go. All right, so we'll rub that. That's how we're looking at the canvas, all right? Too easy. Now you're looking at your canvas. There's your horizon. Look, let's say your horizon line's there. You got a cloud at the bottom, which is a hard top and blended down to the horizon line, okay? So you have a Let's say that's the horizon line there. You have a hard cloud, the top of it's hard, and if anything, you blend that down to the bottom. That's if you want to put clouds at the bottom horizon line. Now, if anything, you want the sky to look like it's coming over our head. Don't forget the man's back here, looking at his painting. You want the sky to make it look like it's coming over your head. So you've got clouds like this at the horizon line, and then you've got bums, and if anything, they're coming over our head. Okay, now I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that, all right? So we'll rub all this out again. And then I can show you head on. So you got your cloud, and you've blended that down to the horizon line. There's the horizon line there. Now, when you stamp a cloud on, if anything, you want to have bums on them, okay? And then they can be all willy-nilly. Look at that, that's just willy-nilly, okay? There's bums on that there. You don't want to just put a cloud on and keep blending it down to the horizon line everywhere like that and have the tops hard. They're all right for down close on the horizon line, okay, like that. Then the higher they get up into the sky, you just put bums on them like that, okay? And then it'll look like there's a bum, a bum, a bum, a bottom, and then the top's just blended into dust. Okay, now that will give you the illusion that the clouds, if there's your canvas again, your sky is coming over your head. You're back here looking at your canvas. Okay, when you paint them this way. All right. Thank you very much, Sarah Shack, for that donation there. You're a darling. Thank you very much. I'll give you big cyber hugs and kisses, you little sweetheart. Now I'm going to rub that out. That's a good thing about these whiteboards. And this is, I've got a really good one inside, but it's bolted to the wall and I wasn't going to bolt it, so I just got to put up with spray. I'm wiping this one to get it clean each time. But we'll get there, no rush. Now, perspective within a painting. What have we got here? Donna, g'day Donna. Hello, I'm taking a break from studying. Bear with me a minute. I'm just going to put my fan on because it's a little bit muggy in here. Okay, there we go. Done that. Patrick, hi. His big brush are just house painting brushes from the hardware store. Yes, they are. I can show you those. They're just from the hardware store. Okay, look at that. They're just from the hardware store. Big brushes. They're just what I use for blending. Now, perspective in a painting, in my opinion, let's just say you've got your painting here. Now, wherever you put your horizon, whether it's a low horizon or a high horizon, okay? Back up here, let's just say this is where you are looking at it. Now, this horizon line, the height, the low or the high you have that, obviously is depending if you're looking at it from here, or if you're looking at it from this angle, or if you're looking at it from that angle you're painting. You've got to take that into consideration. And if you're looking at it from a top position, your horizon line, if anything, is going to be down here, which will be here. So let's just say, to remember it, there's your canvas. You're looking down at a low horizon, okay? And if you're down low, like eye level, and you're looking up or something, there's your horizon line there, okay? Now, in general, our horizon is in the middle, but you don't put it in the middle. A lot of people don't like to do it. They like to break it up into 3 pieces, into thirds. But I always like to make my horizon enough so as I can if you know what you're going to paint, there we are again. If I've just done one, it's not out yet, but the horizon is in the middle. Okay, I've got water there and some whitewash coming onto the beach. Okay, then I've got the actual beach here, the sand. Now I knew I needed those three areas within the lower half of the horizon, so I allowed for that. I don't want to make them too wide, otherwise it starts making your painting look like this. You want your painting to look like that, so the water's there and everything's coming at you. And then how I get away with that, if that's a little bit on the wide side there, I get my clouds to help me disguise that. Sorry I'm late, Ian, that's okay, there's no time to be here. Now you don't want to put, like I said, flat clouds. So what I do, I normally put a couple of low horizon clouds in, wherever, and then I'll, whether it's from here, here or the middle, I'll bring some out, coming over our head, like that, in that sort of fashion. And that is showing that everything on this painting, let's go here looking at it sideways again, is going inwards. You got me? That's going in and the sky's going in. The sky's coming over our head this way and the ground's coming this way. Now I'm going to rub that out. Oh. I'll see if I can read some comments while I'm rubbing that out as well. Bear with me a minute. Live is a challenge on your own. It'd be good if you had other people here. I'm going to have a mouthful of my coffee. What do we got there? Football. Donna's taken a break from studying. How many we got there? Got 33 people. All right, so size. Now another, where are we? There's your horizon line. A lot of this is common sense, but just there are some artists out there that just don't know these things. I never knew them until I knew them. Now let's say that's your horizon line. There's your border there. I'm not going to draw the whole square. Where's my microphone? Is that plugged in? Yep. Now let's just say you've got, I don't know, a boat here. Your bottom of your painting's there. There's your horizon line. You don't want to draw your boat like that because it's making it look like your water's there. But see the boat, the boat, you need to give it some dimension. Okay, now that we've done that, and it's on the water, that boat's going to look in dimension with that horizon line, okay? If you just did it flat, it's going to look like you're looking at the boat from this angle, but you're looking at the horizon from that angle, so it's like you're looking at it from two different angles. Now, if you put a person on this boat, don't go and draw them all the way up here, okay? There's a horizon line, so that's your eyesight. You want to sort of keep their heads within perspective of the boat, whether it's a boat, a rock, a house, whatever. There's their head, there's a horizon line. So now, let's just say there's another boat out here somewhere in the distance. To keep it in perspective, the person's going to be about that high as well. You got me? And that'll keep it in perspective with the horizon. Now let's just say you've got a mountain out there, a mountain range, and you've got this is a different painting altogether, and you don't want to go and draw at the base of there some almighty tree. Because if you're all the way back here, that tree is going to be bloody massive and it's just not going to be in perspective with the painting. So what you do, you've got your hills there. That tree belongs in the foreground that high, okay? That's where you are here. There's your tree. Now, if you're going to do trees there, you look at yourself and go, all right, that's the tree I've painted. A human is about that big to that tree, okay? So you're going to go all the way back over here. If a human's only that big, well, that tree, if you're going to do the same sort of trees over there, you do them within perspective, okay, about that big. I hope that's making sense. It's easy to know the basics, but forget them when you're working. It's always good to go back to basics and refresh. Yes, it is. I mean, I forget a lot of things, but sometimes when I'm doing a painting, it comes into mind. And like someone asked me the other day, am I a big concern about breaking it up into 3 pieces? Some people are. I'm not really. Like I just showed you with my horizon, having it high or low, if you know what you're going to have down there, you've got to make up for it. So there's a horizon line. Rivers and lakes, you don't want to come from here, do a river like that. This line here is wrong, and that line there is wrong, because you might have mountains here, whatever you're doing. Those lines are all wrong for that distance from here to there. That's a long way away. That's a massive mountain. A tree's probably, you know, an evergreen tree is probably about that big. And you've got a line here. So you can have that line as an imaginary line, but let's show you how to get rid of that line. It's still there, but it's imaginary, and put these in so they look real to the picture, okay? So I've shown you that. Now we'll do it again, but properly. That's a mistake a lot of people do, and trust me, I've done it as well. So you've got your canvas. I normally have it. You've done some mountains on there, right? The mountains don't have to be too big either. Some people put them way up there. It's massive. Now that horizon line, there's our horizon line. Don't do it there. You can have some more here. Try and have the river coming from within there. It's just a line. If anything, the further back they are, the more horizontal they are. The more closer it comes to you, the more it can start coming down, but within reason. Hello, Marie. So there's our horizon line. We've got it imaginary in here, or you can even use a bit of tape. Now you can get your river and just sort of come like this. There's your river. Now there's your distant hills. You can bring some other hills here and then start flattening it down from about here. You don't want it still up here. Flattening it down. So your water's in there. You might not see much of it, but this is what you see. Okay, there's your water there. And it can come forward if you want and have something right in front of it. Now we didn't put that line there, but it's there, and everything is not stuck. Mountains, trees, and then a foreground, whatever. There's your painting there. It's not all stuck behind a line. You got me? Okay, we'll go to the next bit. Which is a lot of people. I've done a lot of these paintings. You do a, let's just say you've done some trees, you've got some land here. Okay, this is water, water here. Now you don't want to do all your trees in a line here. Okay, and then you got your trees, whatever. What you do, you've done this land mass on the horizon line there, right? You've done that. All you do is bring some within, or some on the line and some within. See what you do? The one on the line, some within. Different sizes, you're breaking it up. Just within this small land mass, you're putting perspective in that. Okay, so try and get used to breaking the everything up instead of putting it on that line, okay? Hopefully that's making sense to you. And then you can put your trees in accordingly, so you'll have the tops of them or different heights, because this here is forward and back, so these here are all forward and back from each other as well, okay? Oh, got that one the wrong way, but you got what I'd mean. Okay, does that make sense? If we have any questions about something, you can ask me as well while I'm doing this. How long have I been going for? 20 minutes. Yucky, such a yucky board, this one. All right. Brushes, brushes and brushes. I mainly wanted to do this one about clouds, which is important. So a lot of people are asking me about my blending brushes and where do I don't have any brushes anymore. A few years back I found some like this and I was able to buy a heap, and people wanted the same ones I was using, so I was able to get them out to them. But that place where I got them from before, they no longer have them, so I don't have any brushes available, sorry. Brushes, I'm just showing you different brushes that you can get that you might have, what I've got. Now, and over here, where are we? Oh, let's just say a normal flat brush. Now, this one, I'm pretty sure, I don't even use these, but I'm pretty sure they're a gesso brush. But these are like 2 inches that you get from your art shop, okay? Now, if you've seen me blend, this is not what you want to pick up and try and blend like I do, okay? It just won't work. It'll be very scratchy. I mean, if you're really desperate and it's all you had, you can probably get something going with it. Okay, so there's that one there. There's different painting brushes. You get these from the art shop, rounds and flats. You can use them to scrumble in, but they don't blend the way I blend. I grab things like this from the hardware store. 2 inch, 1.5 inch, different sizes, 1 inch. They're mainly for, I mainly get the different sizes for like different size clouds to get into there. That's the 99% I'm going to blend is the sky and clouds. I'm not blending water or anything. The water, which is just another, see the difference in the heads? Where are we? That one's very thin, and this is quite broad. Just something like that, I can use that, as you've seen, to pull the water across, because the water just has to go from left and right to get that movement look in it. So that's okay for the bottom half, but for skies, anything like this from your hardware store. Now I'm going to show you a different element that a lot of you might not be familiar with. There's that one. Okay, now you might pick up one here. Here's another one from the hardware store, a good 2 inch brush. But I don't know if you can see it. If anything, the top of this, let me get over here so you can see it. Where are we against the black? It's rounded. That's okay, but I look for, I'm going to show you on this one. You can see the difference. This one is flat. So is this one. It's very flat. Look at that. It's flat like it's been shaved off. This one is a little bit convexed. Now, where are we? Get this back there. That's okay, it'll get things done, but you might think, well, why is it working for him but not for me? Well, the difference is that's convexed up, okay? These flat ones, they're flat, and why I want them flat is I can get the paint, the whole brush on there and create movement and turmoil, and you can control, I can control how I'm blending a cloud with that brush, even if it's a big one, but they're flat. And you don't want to just blend right down back to the surface. You've got to try and feel. That's why I say practice your clouds. Practice your clouds. A good way is to, where are we? Stamping on. Let's just say there's your canvas. Your canvas is laying down. Your canvas is normally that way. Let's just say it's laying down, right? And you're looking at it like that, all right? Now, a raw canvas with acrylic paint, because acrylic, any acrylic paint, if anything, it's chalky and dry when it's all done. If you just paint it on a unprepared surface, you just get a raw canvas or paper, paint on there, it'll dry chalky and dry. Now, with a canvas, most of them are gesso primed. Whether they're gesso primed, if it's not gesso primed, I prefer to gesso prime it. And then once it's gesso primed, it's a prime surface ready to go, I will get my, I call it flow white and the retarder. Okay, that people want to know what retarder is. Some people still ask to this day. It just retards down the drying time. It slows down the drying time of your acrylic paints, as acrylic paints can dry quicker. So I mix these two together, okay, and then I'm putting them on my canvas. There they are there. I'll put little shiny glistering dots there. Now that surface is wet. For acrylics, I've got a window. The more you do it, the more you know how. Let's get you a bit, oh no, you can see that. I'll come a bit closer. That is wet, okay? And that's the flow white, student white and retarder. Get rid of that one. Mix together, you see me mix them up, and that's sitting on top of the canvas there. Then I get my paint, which is, I don't know, blue. Whatever blue you're going to use, whatever grey you're going to use, quinacridone magenta and titanium white. Okay, they're pretty much the colours I'll get up next for my sky. Now this is wet, you've seen me paint that on there, okay, and you'll get the blue on its own and you'll add that on top there and paint away and paint away. So then over here you've got your canvas, you've got your paint, your blue paint on there now. Don't forget this is looking at the canvas like that, sliced in. Now that's these two on there. You've added your paint and it becomes to this. So you've brushed it with this brush now. You've stroked it and you've got the surface there. This is still wet. Okay, it's got the blue into it and maybe a bit of, you've tinted a bit of quinacridone magenta into it as well, just to get some warm colours in your sky if that's what you want. Then you get your titanium white for a cloud. And then you want to stamp it on. So let's just say there's your canvas here, your horizon lines here. Work out where you want. Little low ones here. You can always have the same pattern of clouds in every painting you do. They're your clouds, it doesn't matter. They don't have to be different in every painting. And if anything, you might notice in my work, if anything now, I'm starting to get some low horizon ones and some ones V'ing out from the middle, splaying out to the edge. That's what I'm doing in a lot of mine. So you got your titanium white. You'll put the bottom ones on this wet surface, and when you put the paint on, okay, there's the paint. Because that's wet, it can sink into that. It'll sink into that paint, and there they are there. And you blend them down like I explained earlier in this video. That's what you're blending. And then you're putting these other clouds on. You're putting the paint on, the paint's on, and then you're able to push it within this wet surface there. You're manipulating it within that wet surface there. Okay? That's the science behind the way I prepare for a sky. You're adding grey or yumminess on top of that. It's just sitting on top of it and it's just pushed in a little bit. Your grey if you're or your white when you're adding the yumminess, or the grey if you're adding some of that into there too, okay? What have we got here? The question I had the other day was in regards to your paints. You seem to have all sorts of different brands. Did you think it was a good idea, especially when using mediums from different brands? Well, I can show you what I've got here. I've only got Atelier and Matisse, which is all down here. They're all 90% I'm using Atelier. All these ones here, Atelier, Atelier, Atelier. They're all here. And then Matisse, you've got Matisse here. Matisse as well. I've never had trouble mixing these two brands up, never had trouble. I don't say you should or you shouldn't do it, I just know what works for me, and if it's not broken, I'm not going to try and fix it. I use Atelier gloss. I haven't used that much yet, but I'm going to start using it. I've got Atelier medium gloss there. Oh, that's a glaze, sorry. I've been using a glaze. And I use a Josonja retarder, and I've also had the Atelier retarder. Now that works excellent with the Atelier paints. The Atelier paints are interactive. Okay, so I hope that answered your question. I'm just reading a comment. So, Patrick, oh, where are we? I can't. I'll see if I can get the mouse over to there. Yes, I can. I'll just show that comment from Patrick. Retarder can also be called flow improver. Well, to me, retarder is just something that's going to slow down the drying time, but it will help it flow as well and move across. Where are we? Or similar name. Different brands sometimes have different names for it, for copyright issues and etc. They all do the same thing. Yeah, so if you've got a if your paint's dry and you're using retarder, which is this here, I mean, naturally it's going to help it transfer from your brush to the canvas as well. It's going to, like, if anything, act as a thinner, but it's not a thinner. And you need to put the amount depending on your climate. How long have we been going for? 33 minutes. Come back here. There we go. If there's anything else we can sort out while I'm still here, I've got about 5 or 10 more minutes in this live show. And if you're watching the replay, you can comment below and have some questions for me. Friday night lives every week. I do a Friday night live on my show. It's just where I sit down in my office there and do questions and answers with everybody and connect with you all. I think that's everything I wanted to cover. I hope I covered it in a way you can understand it and it made sense. Ian, you're the best. Thank you very much, Karen Parker. I love feedback like that. Cyber hugs and kisses to you, sweetheart. I've got a coffee here. Who else have we got there? Elizabeth, great name. That's my mother's name. Hi, Ian, just joined you. Love your tutorials. I'm getting back into painting and am struggling with acrylics, but hopefully we'll get there. Yeah, you might have some trouble with acrylic, but believe me, it's a lot cleaner and more environmentally friendlier than what oils can be, unless you're a seasoned painter and you just love oils. I'm not saying don't do oils, but I just find acrylic's easy to clean up. They do have their own behaviour, so it does help to watch tutorialists and learn what they can show you. I can show you what only I've discovered in my art journey and what works for me, and it shows within people's work. Okay. I will be using some glaze in some up and coming videos. They're already done. Some of them are edited, ready to rock and roll. There'll be one out on Thursday, and then every Monday and Thursday I'm trying to get a video up. So there's that. Thank you for blending brushes information. Yeah, now that blending brush information, that's just for the way I do it in my tutorials and get my results. That doesn't mean you might follow another artist and let's just say, oh, but Ian reckons use this. That's just what works for me. They might have something totally different that works for them. Everyone's work is different. It shows in their work, it shows their style, and that's just because we're all individuals and we have our own habits. If you want to paint like me, grab yourself a putter on a brush. It's a 2-inch, dirty, rotten, snotty, cheap, synthetic brush. It's about that fat on the edge there. It's flat. This is for getting stuff on. That's for the beginning of painting, okay? I use that at the beginning to get stuff on and then smooth it off. Okay, you need one of those. Also, this is for the people who want to paint like me. I'll bring these back over there now. I was sorting things out before. You need I'll bring you over here. Some fan brushes. So we'll get rid of that. That's a gesso brush. I don't know why I bought that. That's what before I knew what I was doing. I thought I'll grab it because it might come in handy. Some fan brushes, hog bristle they are. Now I use these for putting on the clouds, and then you want blending brushes, 2-inch flat faced from the hardware store. They are what push the clouds around. So that's why I use this fan brush. And then you got this one for adding the greys within it, or the yumminess. You've seen me do that. And then you want 2-inch, different variety of 2-inch brushes, like we've got a 1.5 and a 1-inch there. They're all flat. They're quite broad along here. There's an older one. I've had this one for years. It's quite broad. So I've got all that surface area to blend, okay? And you've got to practice your blending. They're the brushes I use for clouds. And then you'll have just certain types of flats, whether they're large, medium, small, and a good old filbert. That's for doing tree foliage as well. And then obviously your script liner or a line brush. Okay, that's pretty much what I use in all of my tutorials there. I'll move these ones out the way so you don't get confused. I think the answer is to try all sorts of brushes and see what works for you. Exactly, Petriel. That's what I've told people. With your brushes, you've got to sit down and have a good couple of days studying your brushes and work out what they can do for you. Don't just like look at this video and go, well, Ian's using that, I'm going to use them. They might not work for you. I've studied these brushes. I know how they work for me. I can pick any one of these brushes up and I know exactly how I'm going to use it, and I know exactly how that brush is going to behave for me. You need to know how they're going to work for you and see what works for you and stay with it. Don't try and get too many decisions in. Colour like sienna dark, what primary colours would I mix to get that kind of colour? Sienna dark. Go to Google Images. I went there many years ago. Where are we? Let's go back to the whiteboard here. I've got laminate on this, so it might be a bit glary. They've got colour mixing charts. They've got colour wheels. Okay, you'd need a colour printer. My colour printers ran out of ink. But see like this colour chart, you've got colours down here and down here. and then every colour within the middle, you look at it, and it's been made up from that colour and that colour were mixed to get that colour. So your sienna dark is probably over this side. I don't know, oh yeah, I've got my glasses in my pocket, bear with me a minute. So, somewhere there, cobalt teal and cadmium red light. No, is it cadmium red light? So not everyone's probably going to have cobalt teal. Phthalo blue and cadmium red light will get this colour here. Can you see that colour there? Hopefully that's a sienna dark. But find one of these charts. They're a colour mixing chart on Google. And then you can get a good idea. And the more you mix colours, the more you'll see colours within things and you'll know what's happening. Elizabeth Hahn case in... I've seen some people use round, then others do the same with a different brush. Yeah, so every brush works different. Muchas gracias. Do you use round brushes at all? Says Elizabeth. Not often, I do not. No, not often. Does letting the background dry before doing detail work or help? Or should it all be done in one sitting? No, you can let it dry. Like a lot of people will ask, let's say about the skies I do. Once I've got that white and retarder on, I've got to get the sky on there straight away while that's wet to get the sky and the clouds blended. Once that's done, I can sit back for a day, a month, a year, let it dry, and then start putting the other foregrounds on. If you've done a background, you can let it dry with acrylics and then paint things on top of it and work out the layers. That's another thing, is like you've got different, oh hang on, I'll do it this way. That's a circle, and that's another circle, and that's another circle, and there's one there, obviously. But you've got to work out what's behind and what's coming forward within a painting, a tree here, so to speak, a foreground here. I don't know what these circles are, but they're just objects within a painting. You've got to work out, and then you've obviously got your background, okay? Do your background first. Work out what's second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and to the last bit. Everything is coming forward. They're all your different layers within your painting, okay? So look at a picture if you're using a reference picture and work out what's in each of these areas, and then get yourself set up, and then start, if you haven't practiced those procedures like clouds or whatever, practice them. What does everyone do for cleaning up? Wash it down the sink? Let's just say I've got this brush here. I'll wipe the bulk off. This is what I do. I wipe the bulk off and then I wash it down my sink. But my sink's connected, in my flat here, my sink's connected to a pipe just that bleeds onto the ground there. Okay, it's environmentally, it's not oil paint. If it was oil paint, you need to put it in something where you can dispose of it properly. I wipe and clean my brushes off and then I rinse them down my sink. But that water goes onto my back garden. Okay, and it hasn't killed my garden or anything like that. I don't know what everyone else does with their water brushes. Thank you. Just reading some comments here. Oh mate, does letting the background dry? Read that one. I have struggled with clouds until you showed how you did them, and it worked for me. Thank you very much. Well, Ruth, if that's working for you, stick with it. Don't make a mistake and watch someone else do a different style of cloud, because it's going to cram your mind and it's going to start confusing you. That's what happened to me in the beginning. I was seeing someone do a cloud and wow, and then I saw someone else do a cloud, wow. And then I didn't know which way to go, and somewhere along the line my way developed. But if you find something you like, stick with that and don't get confused bringing too many other ideas in your head from other people. Do you use round brushes? Read that one. I read that one as well. Do you use soap? Yes, now I could show you that. Sometimes, here we go. Come over here. See this flat, it's clean, but about from halfway to the end there, it's hard. Where are we? Can you see that? Yeah, it's hard. Okay, it's still usable. It's not soft like that all the way. To the ferrule, this is hard, dry paint there. What you can do, I've done it a few times. Get a container, get some dishwashing liquid in there, a squirt of that, get the tap running really hot, and then fill it up with hot soapy water and sit them in there for a day or half a day. All right, sit them in there. And then you can take them out in this container here. I have like a rack at the bottom of it. I put that in there. This was a cigar jar. I've put that in there and I can rub like a washboard. I can rub the paint off. I've already done that to this brush, but I use this one to gesso prime my black canvas after each painting to get the black back on there again. And that's why it's filled up with paint there. But that's how I wash mine. I don't know, you can probably do that once a month or maybe once every 2 weeks, depending on how often you use your brushes. Is that one there? Okay, there's a question there. I'm going to show it. Where are we? Show that. Krista is asking, hi Ian, can you please tell me what kind of retarder you use? Get rid of my cursor so I can read that. What kind of tartar you use? I can't find at any small cities. We only have Michael's picked over pretty good. Okay, I use this one here. Where are we? Or Atelier. It's clear. It looks like baby oil, but it's not baby oil. I use that. If you can't find it in your, wherever you live, everything's available online. You can find things online. So I use Jasonja's or Atelier clear retarder. It's a medium added to your paints. Vinegar works well too, says Jennifer. Well, I don't know, I've never used vinegar, but I do know vinegar and lemon can be a good cleaning agent. But I've never used it on brushes. But I'm not saying it will or won't work, I've just never used it. If I've done something, I'll give you my view on it, but if I haven't used it or done it, I can't answer that question, unfortunately. What else might we have there? Thank you very much, Francine. Yeah, I've got a painting coming up, but I did a background, and that's coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm ready to do the foreground on it. It's going to be a bit of work for me to film, but for you to watch, it'll be pretty simple and easy and something you can do in your own time. Check out the links in the description below if you're watching the replay here. There's about 9 of them there, and comment below if there's anything you want to ask me in my Friday Night Lives. Friday Night Lives is where I get to connect with all my followers there on YouTube and answer all your questions and tell you what I'm like. I like to sell my paintings, and I like to thank my patrons that support my content on my channel as well. And it's people like that that keep me going. There's a lot of work behind the scenes that keep a channel like this going, whether you know it or not. Some of us tell you, some of us don't. But for me, it's a lot of work. I do enjoy it though. I don't expect nothing in return, but when I do get something in return, I do appreciate it and I do accept it, okay? Because it goes to making more of these happen in the future. What have we got here? Angela. Marcy Gracia Austria, I can't, sorry. Good blending brushes. What's good blending brushes? I've just showed them. You'll have to watch the replay and go through this again. Thanks, sir. Like the perspective stuff. My husband's always trying to teach me that. Good on you. Listen to your husband. It's always good to walk in your husband's shadow. And the good thing about it is that it's his shadow, all right? Where can I find your Patreon page? There'll be a link. It's not there at the moment because this is the live feed, but if you're watching the replay, there'll be a link in the description below, or go to one of my other videos. There's links in the description below. There's about 9 links there, and one of them is my Patreon page, okay? You click on that and become a patron, follow the prompts, self-explanatory there. There's a link for my art that's for sale, what's available. There is a PayPal link there. It's called a donate PayPal link. That's if you're going to buy a painting of mine, they're all done through PayPal. So you use that link to pay for your painting, or just simply send support my way. Yeah, there we got a fun one there. Good evening from Chicago. Carol, good evening, Carol. Well, I might start wrapping this up. And yeah, share, like and subscribe if it's your first time here. And if you like what I'm doing, you be sure to tell your friends. But if you don't like what I'm doing, you tell everybody. All right, all the best, goodbye, good luck, and bloody good on you. Now I've just got to go over here and turn my camera off and say it's Uru from the Guru.